paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
None of this is usable.
Unreleasable. This is good stuff. We're gonna do tonight. Hey, welcome to. We're gonna do a 50. We can't use that name. Welcome to Speedy Specs. Oh, that's good. Speedy Specs.
Ooh.
It sounds like a discount eyeglasses place at the moment. Welcome to Speedy Specs, the 15-minute Magic the Gathering podcast.
Welcome
Wham,
to
wham.
MTG Quick Picks.
Quick Picks is good too.
Quick Picks.
Pick in a minute. Minute.
So what's been going on in Magic this week? We got Lost Caverns of Ixalan came out. Next
They
week,
announced Tomb Raider and Jurassic Park and Chris Pratt's Garfield.
and there's also like
Wizards announced
Jurassic
it.
Park insignias.
I don't like Chris Pratt being Magic canon.
Oh,
At
me
all.
either. On the other hand, though, Samuel L. Jackson is now in the Magic canon, so like you win some, you lose some.
You didn't say keep Chris Pratt out just because. What do we hate Chris Pratt?
Oh, he's
I
like
was asked
super.
this.
He's anti-vax and like super trad
Yeah.
path.
And he's terrible. And then everybody was like, "Oh, be nice to Chris Pratt," and then we were treated to like all these magazine articles about why don't people like Chris Pratt? Like Men's Health, he was in the cover of Men's Health, being like, "I'm a nice guy. Be nice to me. I'm Christian." I don't know. Jurassic Park movies were bad. The Jurassic World ones.
They suck.
They were so bad. They was the same movie 3 times and they all ate farts.
What's the name of the woman who's in the first one?
Her character name or her actress name?
Her actress name.
Wasn't it Bryce Dallas Howard?
Yeah, they put her in the tiniest dress they could find, and that didn't even like bring the movie above a 1. Like,
Well, they
tried so
photoshopped
hard.
her. They photoshopped her to be smaller for the poster.
That's crazy. Like that.
We
she was
only
the-
want white people to see this movie. That's what you're saying.
She was the only saving grace of that movie because they just tried to do that. That's like the only thing the movie had going for it. And actually,
B.D. Wong came back, and that was pretty cool. Everybody likes
Yeah.
B.D. Wong. Who the
Yeah.
like B.D. Wong?
have you seen like the live cast for the new Avatar series on Netflix?
Oh,
Avatar: The Last Airbender. Daniel Day
The
Kim
new-
is the Fire Lord. So
Okay.
Daniel Day Kim is the Fire Lord. Paul Sun Hyung Lee is Iroh.
they've been doing that. Getting fucking what's his name, Sonny Chiba's kid, for One Piece
Yeah,
was genius
yeah.
because he lent that project so much credibility, and then it was just really good.
The cast for this looks totally berserk. I don't know some of the kid actors, but like Ken
Yeah.
Leung is going to be Commander Zhao.
Whoa!
Yeah, right? That's like a sick pull.
Wow, this is good.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think Netflix is like starting to do animated stuff like live action versions pretty right, and
Hey,
I fuck with that.
maybe in 5 years they'll just re-release Cowboy Bebop. Just don't change anything and be like, hey, oh, we were right.
we were right the whole time.
It was fine. Welcome to Brainstorm Brewery. We'll do 30.
We'll do a tight 30.
What is there to... Yeah, we'll do a tight 30. What is there to talk about? I'm a guy who doesn't know what cards cost anymore. You just look some shit up, you're like, that's how much?
That card's how many dollars? I mean, that's how everybody is. Nobody knows the price of any cards anymore because there's just a million cards. I was in my store the other day, and there were some players doing a Baldur's Gate draft.
Yeah.
And I didn't recognize a single card on the table. There was like 15 cards on the table.
There's
and I was like, I know
350
Forest.
cards in that set, yeah.
I know none of them.
It was such a good set, too. Imagine if Baldur's Gate had come out within, like, 6 months of that set coming out. And that wasn't Wizards' fault. That was real bad luck.
right.
Oh, when's your video game coming out? August. Okay, I believe you. I don't know anything about the video game industry. Yeah, it's coming out in August.
There was a time in my life where you probably could have sat me down and been like, name every single card in Gatecrash. Like, write them down on a piece of paper. You have as much time as you want. Go ahead. And I would get all of them. But, like, now, I don't know. Maybe I know 1% of cards printed in the last 2 years.
Same as... Yeah.
Like, I've been working in a game store for the past... Since Lord of the Rings came out. 5 days a week. And every day I see a new Lord of the Rings card I didn't know existed.
Every day I go on EDH Rec and it's just like, what is any of this?
Right.
All the high synergy cards are new just because we made a commander that's built one way and we made all the cards that go in it. And like, yeah, it's cool to make the EDH precons good off the shelf, but the problem is it just kind of like the power level of some of this stuff just kind of made EDH different forever. And
I think more than ever, it's important to engage with EDH in a way that you find fun and not in the way that you feel like you're supposed to. I think restrictions are really important. I actually just recently, I built a Bartolome del Presidio deck. Presidio, I think it's how you pronounce his name. With Luris as the companion, and like having a Luris companion in your EDH deck makes you have to like actually make some cool decisions about how you win a game.
Yeah.
Things like animate dead, like stealing your opponent's creatures becomes like the actual thing you do instead of reanimating your own big fatty. You just like actually have to dig into the lexicon of the history of Magic cards and find something that's not in the precon you just bought.
Yeah. I'm thinking I'm just going to put a Street Fighter 8 deck battle box together and then just like everybody picks a fighter.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't matter. I don't have to worry about, there's, I don't like people playing stacks or this kind of... The decks are designed to wrap the game up, and they're designed to be played against each other. So, like, you can control all the aspects of it. And who doesn't want to borrow a deck and, play somebody else's fun thing? Like, if they stop printing Magic cards tomorrow, I think people would still be making cubes and boxes and just doing all kind of crazy. And if every rare was a dime for a while, people would be buying some pretty good stuff and just... There's something about... Magic is grandfathered in. We care about the paper cards because we've cared about them since the 90s. Right. And like, I'm not giving up my paper cards. I kept all my decks and I kept thousands and thousands of cards to build new ones. Because I know I'm gonna. So like... It almost doesn't matter what Wizards does. If they went out of business, it would be 5 years before we were like, all right, we need some new... I'm bored. Like, they've given us... In the last year, we've had 5 years worth of... To just... Imagine spending 3, 4, 5 months just... completely digesting Baldur's Gate. Like, really giving it the...
luxuriating in it, just like actually getting to like read what the commons do. I actually talked about this last week on the cast. There was an old WotC game, the Star Wars miniatures game that I used to love.
Yeah.
And they lost the licensing for it, and now if you look at like the fan sites for it, there's just 10 years of new, stat blocks for characters that the fans have made. Like Magic could die tomorrow and it still probably has like 10, 15 years of gas in the tank minimum from just like fan created stuff. Yeah,
which is, great for TCG player who will Magic does need to print new for TCG player to sell singles. Or Cardsphere, your number one source for trading cards. Hey, do you have fear? Is your fear card based? Well, your fear of cards is not the card sphere we're talking about. We're talking about a sphere of cards. You have the sphere, and the sphere is sending in to us your cards, and then you get the money. But more likely, you get the cards back out. Different cards, though. You give the cards that you don't like, and then you get the cards that you do like, and then everyone's happy. Cardsphere. Have no fear. Come to Cardsphere. We do not sponsor Brainstorm Brewery, but no one is here to tell me not to pitch EDH Rec specific stuff. So go to commandersherald.com and Architect and... I got to pitch everything real quick while Corbin's gone. Yeah, fabric.gg and what else we got?
If you are in the Northern Virginia area and you'd like to spend your money at a local game store, a friendly local game store, go to Games and Comics Paradise on Main Street in Fairfax.
That's easy to remember. It's Main Street.
I don't know the numbers. It's just Main Street. There's 5 digits.
It's fun to be in Virginia when you're like, hey, there's an LGS 10 miles away. I'm going to go check it out. And my wife's like, you going to be back in time for dinner? I'm like, it's 10 miles away. I'll be back in like a half hour. And she's like, no. 10 miles
like
takes
3 to
you
4.
55 minutes in Virginia. And I was like,
if you're not in rush hour traffic, every mile takes about 2 minutes.
That's
sad.
my
like...
How do you live like that?
I don't go very far. I just kind of go to like the same 3 places.
You can't.
Right.
I don't go very far because I can't. Yeah, but like you drive 2 miles and there's a Wegmans and you're like, oh, my life is dope. So like, I guess if you can't drive, but you don't have to, it doesn't matter.
I'm like very close to a Wegmans and an H Mart, and it's like,
ooh,
life is worth living when I can go buy 10 for $1 green onions. Like bunches of green onions.
I have to grow my own green onions like a medieval pauper.
I live in Koreatown, basically. It's awesome.
Welcome to Brainstorm Brewery. What am I?
You're our favorite guest.
Host emeritus. Yeah. I'm guest emeritus, Jason Alt.
And I am your only host. Every other host is gone. Cass. This week we're going to talk about magic finance, a little bit about comedy, and a little bit about delivery pizza.
We're introducing what we talked about 45 minutes ago.
Well, JJ's going to fix it in post.
Sure, but they need to know that it was weird. It was hard tonight. Look, you got an episode, is what we want to say. You were like, can I get an episode? Yeah, you wished for a Brainstorm Brewery episode on a monkey paw, and here is what you got. We don't know how much of what we recorded is releasable. Not because it was wrong or bad per se, but we don't know what you want to know. So tell us. Go to the Google. Go to your Google mails and email us and be like, hey, what's good? Tell us.
Tell us what to talk about.
Tell us how to do a podcast we've been doing for 10 years. We don't know.
If you can't tell, DJ and Corbin are both gone, and they are the only ones who know how to drive the bus. So we're just...
I don't even know how to send my recording. They've been doing everything for us.
Yeah, I'm like a Nepo baby for this podcast.
But I feel that way too, because I joined in episode 10.
Oh, sure. I joined in episode like 450. Why is my webcam...
That's violence.
I guess I'm blurry today.
Well, aren't we all? I'd love to be blurrier on this cast, frankly. We have a great episode for you if you don't like Brainstorm Brewery.
If you hate our guts, this is the episode for you.
Who's this cast for at this point? Who's stuck around? I feel like we started with like a potential user base of like 200K, and then we just whittled it down to like 40 patrons, and we are so grateful for those 40 people who went to patreon.com/BSB and gave us as little as $1 a month, which is 20 or 25 cents an episode, to have access to our Discord server so they can be like, why isn't Jason on the cast ever? Because they want to record at like 5 p.m.
That is true. Recording at 5 p.m. is pretty fucking choice.
It's because we beefing. Can you imagine if we were beefing and they're like, could you record a guest cast? And I'm just like, here's some fucked up shit DJ tweeted at me. I don't know.
DJ and Jason have a deep running beef. They actually hate each other's guts, and they fist fought at
we
DJ's
can't be
wedding.
in the desert.
In the desert, yeah. It was a desert brawl. Nobody knows about this. I have been itching to fist fight someone recently. I don't know why. I just want to get into a f***ing brawl.
Anybody specific or
no? I want to fight.
That could be cool. You got a big reach advantage on a lot of people, especially in the Magic content community.
Yeah. We could do a Magic fight night for charity or something.
Yeah, I think MTG Financier like battle royale would be good.
I'm trying to think if anybody in the finance community could take me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure there's like some guy who owns a store in like Ohio who's a power lifter or something.
We should get weapons. That's right.
I will bring a knife to the box.
It'd be finally like $10,000 for a pipe.
None of this is good, Jason.
No,
I don't know what we're doing.
We're talking about murdering each other, which is potentially violence against a white man, which is the worst kind of violence. So, if you don't want us demonetized, you should watch your negative rhetoric. Is what I'm saying. What do we have positive to say about Magic the Gathering? I like Fallout.
I'm excited for Eternal Weekend.
Oh yeah. I will make a Lara Croft deck.
I am playing Vintage and Legacy, both events for the first time ever on Eternal Weekend.
I played a load of EDH a couple weekends ago, and it made me feel super happy to play with my friends. I'm glad I kept my decks.
Every day I go into a game store, and the selling of cards and the cataloging issues all make me sad, but seeing the community thrive makes me very happy.
I don't want to fill time just to fill time. I wanted to give people an entertaining podcast because they're like, hey, I wish Jason would cast more. The 3 of them said on Reddit. And I was like, the community has spoken. So I guess I haven't seen anybody like Jason is in this episode. Good. And that would hurt my feelings. Right? I wouldn't handle that well, probably.
No. Who would?
What 40-year-old man can take mild criticism from a fan on YouTube? Not me.
None of them.
None. We're just barely holding on. Dads, I mean, not white dudes. Dads. I don't get enough sleep for criticism. Get off my back. Magic's still fun to play. They haven't ruined playing Magic.
Playing Magic's great. I think Modern's terrible, and I'm excited for Standard. Legacy's great. I'm playing a new Lord of the Rings Commander card in my Legacy deck now. Legolas's Quick Reflexes.
Oh, nice.
Talked about that a little bit last week, but I tried it out like proper with some paper testing yesterday at the store, and it was really nice. It was honestly way better than I thought it would be, and I thought it was going to be pretty good, so I'm excited for that.
Has Bowmasters ruined Legacy, or?
Bowmasters is fine. Decks have had to adapt, and like it mostly just punishes Brainstorm, which like good.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. Like Lord of the Rings brought like 4 cards to Legacy, I think, for the most part.
It just seemed like Legacy is like I play a 1-mana 5/5, and then we trade lightning bolts until somebody's dead. That's how Legacy felt for a while.
Andrea Mangucci was tweeting about how he thinks that like Days Wasteland decks are the worst they've ever been in Legacy.
Oh.
Which is like kind of hype.
Cool.
I mean, the format's been kind of blighted by Delver for so long.
Yeah, I'll play 1 creature and then we'll just I'll counter everything.
I miss the days good.
Yeah, they're not. I miss when Terravor was Legacy playable. That's the when they introduced Scavenging Ooze and everyone went, "This is gonna upend Legacy." Remember when Scavenging Ooze was seismic, and now it's worth
that card was $40.
Yeah. In a $40 pre-con. You know how many acorn catapults I sold for nothing on Card Shark back then? Those were the days.
Remember Card Shark?
I still buy cards from Card Shark.
Same.
So I remember it well.
Yeah. They're one of the last people to get bought out every time.
Every time. Someone's got 4 copies of a card for last week's prices.
That is this week's hot finance tip.
Just check weird old play. Go to page 5 of Google results.
Yeah, honestly, that's true for everything in life these days. Just like you're trying to find a doctor, go to page 5 of Google results.
It's like Jimmy Wong's brother Freddie saying he only goes to Chinese restaurants that have like a 3.5 rating because it's all people being like, the food was great, but the service was terrible.
One of the things around where I live is you have to check the actual reviews and what they're saying, because some restaurants will be like, 5 stars, pristine, and it's just like, oh my god, the server was so nice, complimented my blouse. And then, like, you know, the other restaurant's like, the servers hate crimed me. And then it's just like 55 people being like, the food was so good.
This food was so good, I don't care that they...
I offered to kill myself in front of the hostess because the food was so good.
I cut off my own pinky.
Right.
My wife was rude, and they asked her to leave, and I stayed and ate.
Right.
Well, see you later, Stacy. Shouldn't have been a...
The problem
Welcome to Brainstorm Brewery, your source of... That's not a good name, is it? If I'd been here 8 episodes earlier, I'd have been like, or we could call it anything else. If you like the card Brainstorm and you are here by accident, thank you for coming. If you bought our merch by accident because you like brainstorms, we're going to do even brainstormier merch later. Go to Coalesce Apparel. I assume it's coalesceapparel.com, but this is one of those instances where you just type Coalesce Apparel into Google, and if you're close enough, it'll bring it up. So, like, you don't have to worry if you spell Coalesce, Coalesce, probably.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
But you don't have to worry about that. Just get real close. Couless, Coalesce.
If you go there and you buy some t-shirts, the odds that you will get blasted with the blunderbuss are very low.
Very low. He will blast me with the blunderbuss, if anything.
True. Correct.
For telling you to buy so much. They send you booster packs, and
they give you a full boosty.
A full boosty. You can have EDH Rec merch. You can have Brainstorm Brewery merch. There's all kind of stuff. Ristic Studies. Yeah, I know you'd like a Ristic Studies shirt.
It's true.
Like the one I like to wear.
My dad bought a Brainstorm Brewery hoodie with my face on it, and he got his booster pack and he opened it and he sent me a picture of the cards and said, "Did I get anything good?" And I had to explain to him what a bulk rare was.
Oh.
It was like March of Burgeoning Life from Kamigawa. Not a great rare.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coalesce. Well, Coalesce is not responsible for the contents of the booster pack they send you.
Correct. That's a Watson issue.
They threw a dog a bone. They don't need to know if it tastes good or not. But you need to know that if you use the code...
JJ, just like
use our code.
Yeah, use our code, JJ. AI voice me in to say, like, Brainstorm Brewery 2023.
I'm just gonna move my mouth and not say anything, and you make it like... Okay, cool. We did it. We gave you the code. Now use that code to go to Coalesce Apparel, get a booster pack, and a hoodie with Cass's face on it.
When I bought my Ristic Studies shirt, my booster pack had a Beseju who endures in it, so, like... The shirt was basically free.
Free shirt?
Basically a free shirt.
Free shirt? We can't legally say free shirt, but...
Right. But it could be.
There are circumstances under which...
The shirt becomes free.
Get a free shirt. Yeah.
Right. You know what else is basically a free shirt? What has the equivalent value?
Breaking Bulk?
It's our Breaking Bulk segment.
Breaking Bulk time. Breaking Bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking Bulk. The end.
It's our Breaking Bulk. That's a good transition to Breaking Bulk.
Breaking Bulk head-to-head 1v1 mono itra wamano. We got this. I'll go first. I got a red March of the Machine common.
March of the Machine.
Yeah.
What's that expansion symbol look like?
It's like a sword with like a dotted circle.
Oh! A red common from... Is it a treasure token thing?
No. It like feels like low-hanging fruit because it kind of like wasn't bulk, but it now kind of is bulk, but then it's not bulk again.
So it should be obvious. I don't know this.
It's Ren's Resolve, which is just like the red and a colorless XL top 2 cards to your deck.
Oh yeah, the what's that called? Impulse draw card.
Right. So this card
See,
is like 50
I have
cents.
brewed with that, so like it's dumb I didn't get it. Jesus, you gave me a real softball.
I'm
gonna nail this one. Yeah, well, hey.
Let me give my justification real quick, because I have a lot of reasons to like this one. Card's like 50 cents low, but is $1.05 on Card Kingdom buy list. Sees playing Standard and Pioneer in the Pia deck. And it was a Story Spotlight card, so it's slightly more rare than other commons in the set.
CK's paying $1.
Right.
That's $1 of store credit on Card Kingdom. They're like, Card Kingdom's insane. They pay like 80% of a card's value, and then they give you a trade-in value for like store credit, and then you're just like, oh no, it's $5 more for whatever legacy card.
Right.
It's free money.
1,000.
It's a free money cast.
Was it 3,000 Ren's Resolves? That's a Mox Jet, probably. I didn't do the math.
There you go.
There you go.
Jet, that's a song by Wings. You know who has wings? Flying creatures. You know who flies sometimes? Creatures from Throwing Stars of Kamigawa. Is that Betrayers? Yeah, Betrayers of Kamigawa.
Betrayers. I don't know any cards in this set.
White common creature, Betrayers of Kamigawa. It is a kami.
Is it Waxmane Baku or something?
No, it is not Waxmane Baku. That is a guess. Waxmane Baku. None of the Baku were really good. Were
is it
they?
Kami of Ancient Law?
No, that was Champions of Kamigawa, I think. That was like anti. Yeah, that was good tech.
Is it Hokori?
It's not. Hokori is rare. This is common.
Oh right, yeah, I don't know anything.
That's the right set though.
I got nothing.
Kami of False Hope is a bug.
I should have known that. It's the Holy Day guy.
It's the foggy Kami.
I lost to that card in a PTQ a long time ago. My opponent every upkeep paid 6 mana to return it to play with Proclamation of Rebirth, and I could not do lethal damage
Proclamartyr.
with
That
my...
deck was sick.
I
Yeah.
had like a 20 power Arcbound Ravager, and I could not kill him.
Yeah, and then he just millstoned you. That's so much fun. That deck was great.
Yeah.
It was Martyr of Sands to gain the life too.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you would just pay 3 mana and return 3 Martyrs to play, and the game would be completely over.
Just super annoying.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, I'm DJ. Here's a rare. Here's a rare that's not bulk, but Tiller Engine. I did it. I'm Douglas Johnson. Hey, I'm Corbin. I went to MTG Stocks and found a common. I don't know. I got nothing. How does this cast go normally? This feels bad, but all the bad podcasters aren't here. So, like, what, shouldn't this be better? Is Corbin important?
You and I are great entertainers, but we're not good podcasters. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we want to sit at the back of the bus and riff, but someone's got to drive the bus, and it shouldn't be either of us.
I agree. Our fans will have to be understanding this. Listen, if you're a longtime listener, you got to give us a break. Corbin is dead. DJ got a tattoo.
Yeah.
If you're new to the podcast, it's not this bad usually, but also if you're enjoying it, it's always like this.
100%.
Yeah.
We will probably have to record a real episode tomorrow.
Oh, I'm super not in for that. I can't do that. I said like I can either do tonight or tomorrow, and then we said we were doing tonight, and then we didn't do tonight, so I'm booked for tomorrow.
Oh, we're doing tonight. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. Hey, go to EDH Rec. There. That's
your second pitch.
That's 25 years of MTG finance advice. Go to EDH Rec, look at cards that people are playing a lot. You did it. You could write a finance article every week just doing that. Ask me how I know. I did it for 5 years. I
got a real finance topic to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it.
We can probably get some time out of this. So recently on Twitter, x.com, if you will.
X.com, formerly known as Twitter.
Right. Industry leader and brilliant mind of the industry, Michael Caffrey, started talking about, with the standard RCQ season coming up, how are stores supposed to stock standard singles? And I believe I've touched on this previously a little bit. But like, if you're a game store right now, how are you supposed to stock the card Shieldred's Edict? A $4 uncommon or something. How are you supposed to get 8 copies in stock without opening Phyrexia Will Be 1 booster packs, which is almost certainly a loss? And we've talked a lot about sort of the nature of like, WotC's not lowering pack prices, but single prices are going down because of reprints.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like an unwinnable situation.
But WotC doesn't care because like their out is just dumping the boxes on Amazon, which is who the stores have to compete with in the first place.
And if you're a player and you want to build a standard deck, your local game store can't realistically stock standard cards, and so they have to just shop on TCG Player, which, unless you're buying from your store through TCG Player, can compete with your local game store. And it feels like it's just like this unwinnable thing for game stores, like for people who don't sell online, which I think you need to have a game store in the modern day and age. But
for Magic needs the LGS, but the LGS, they're like, we need Magic to get asses in stores to sell Skittles. We are not making money on Magic.
No one makes money on Skittles. That's the thing. Like, you actually have to find a way to make money on Magic.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting worse. And I think that, as we kind of go into economic recession potentially, with this it feels like active warfare from WotC. It feels like game stores have to change and adapt. And as players, if you want your game store to stick around, you're gonna have to start spending money there. Skip the next secret layer and buy some boxes from your store. But as a store, you have to start thinking about how you're going to actually serve your customers in a way that makes sense. And for me, I've been looking at how do I restock standard cards? How do I, if someone comes in and says, hey, I want to buy the standard 75 and I'll pay an extra 15% to buy it at my local game store, how do I get the cards to make sure I have them for them? And I think that if you're somebody who is a store or somebody who works with a store, as I imagine a lot of people who listen to the podcast who are backpackers, sort of, they have outs to local stores, start talking to your local game store owners about the ways in which they're serving their customer base, because that's changing all the time. And as someone who wants to make money in this game, or even just play the game for cheaper, you have to be changing with the times. And I know that I've been changing with the times, or trying to at least, and the people who I work with have changed as well. And I think the people who are not changing are not seeing success.
Or they're pivoting into a different game like Flesh and Blood or Lorcan
Right.
or something like that, where just
Even Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon's hot.
Yeah.
It's a fun, easy game, and Magic's it's a tough sell, I think, right now.
Every week we probably have one Magic player who realizes they can buy a full standard Pokemon deck for the price of a single Orcish Bowmaster, and they're like, why the fuck Magic? I think that's just because Magic's the greatest game ever, but also it's mid as fuck.
It is.
Yeah. It's both at the same time, and it's hard to... every other game just feels a little bit worse in comparison.
Yeah. Oh, Magic's the best game, and it's the best thing. And it made me like it less. And why would it do that? I named my kids Liliana and Soren. You think they would just be like, all right, let's make this guy a little happy. That's what, that's what Fallout was. Fallout's throw this guy a bone so he doesn't, quit his job.
I mean, I think that's kind of the thing with Universes Beyond, is everyone's going to have the one they love and then the 10 they hate.
But it's not that I hate Jurassic Park. I hate that
Doctor Who.
But I can't make it go away by not buying Fallout.
Right.
So is that a little bit incongruous, or am I just making the best of a bad situation?
WotC's not going to stop printing Universes Beyond because Jason didn't buy Fallout packs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'm gonna just buy them because it. I need
that
a little dopamine.
If you're somebody who's in Magic and as entrenched as we are, and I imagine a lot of our listeners are, right now it's about finding joy in the things that are joyful and letting the things that aren't joyful wash past you. We're getting into some life advice guru shit, but honestly, if you just spend all of your time thinking about how much Doctor Who makes you angry, you're gonna be an unhappy person. So instead, just look at the dog meat spoiler and be like, I want to build a deck with that. And I think that's kind of what you're doing, Jason. Would you say that's kind of true?
Yeah, sure. And I also thought about the fact that Magic has not changed.
Right.
Magic finance hasn't changed. It's with all the sealed product being expensive and all the singles being cheap, how is it just I do what I always did, where I buy collections.
Yep.
For less money than I can sell them for, and then I sell them for more, and it's not sexy. And it's a lot of spreadsheets, and it's a lot of algorithms and taking pictures and listing it. It's a lot of tweets and TCG player posts. It's a lot of just having Netflix on the other monitor just so you can get through the minutia of just doing the mechanical bullshit that comes from peddling cards in a children's card game because I don't want to go back to the lab. So that didn't change. So as much as we're the way I interface with Magic the Gathering is different now, because I sold all my inventory. I maintain the case or whatever, and I do some stuff. But like for the most part, I blew out of like holding on to stuff.
Right.
So how are things different for me? Well, are they different?
I think the difference is you can't hold things anymore. You just have to churn.
Yeah, you just have to churn.
Right. Like I used to be the kind of person who, if I was sitting on Magic cards and I just like, I don't feel like I have to sell them right now. I don't feel a rush to do it. But now I don't want to own anything for more than a couple months. I just want to like put it in my store, put it for sale, get it out the door.
And as much as people are like reserve list stuff is safe, reserve list stuff is ridiculous.
It's not
reserve
safe.
list stuff, yeah, it's a sealed copy of Mario Kart 64, right? So sealed copy of Mario Kart 64 is $200 until it's $13,000.
Right.
And then $200 again. Like that was a bubble at the same time Magic was doing all that freaky because it was over COVID and everyone's like, "Oh, I have a sealed copy of Pilot Wing 64. Can that go for $20,000?" And then I just left at the auction house hoping to flip it, and oh, by the way, it didn't sell. Like, a lot of that stuff was. Yeah, go ahead.
There's some talk on Twitter this week about like collectibles in general getting cheaper, and if you look at price graphs of like interest rates for borrowing money, they're pretty well tied to Magic card and collectible prices. Like graded video games started careening down in price as soon as interest rates started rising, as soon as crypto got less valuable.
Yep.
Like it's all interconnected. Magic is a luxury hobby, and when there's money to go around, it does better. When there's not money to go around, it does worse.
So we're not saying Magic's a bubble. We're saying kind of like that inflated reserve list shit, like Catacomb Dragons, $19 because it's on the reserve list. That was a bubble. The rest of Magic is not a bubble. It is a completely different unsustainable financial model. And you got to realize that it's actually two different unsustainable financial models on top of each other. It's not all a bubble. Jeez.
It's like the Simpsons Mr. Burns disease thing where there's so many things wrong with it that it can't
trying
get
to
through the
just
door.
wedge. Yeah, exactly.
I think the actual shtick is like the problem with Magic cards and like the model is price isn't actually the issue, it's demand. If a card has demand, it's worth something because people are like most Magic players nowadays. The kind of Magic player who would buy a dual land is willing to spend $400 on an Underground Sea. They weren't willing to spend $7, clearly, because now the card is $400 for an HP, right?
Yeah.
Like that card has actual demand at $400. Catacomb Dragons $19. Who is that for? You have to actually look at the way people engage with the game. I think utility of cards and like game pieces matter. I hate owning a bunch of borderless foil shit now. I just want to have, like, for my store, I want to have 20 copies of the non-foil playable version, and then everything else I just list online for fire sale price. I don't want to own a foil promo pack against Soul Cauldron. I would like to own a non-foil one for my store so that a customer who wants
someone
to
might actually buy and play with it. Sure.
Right. I want them to play Pioneer and give all of their creatures Emery's ability and go crazy. You know?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I want people to play Magic.
That I was saying earlier, like when I get into the store and I'm doing like the finance side of things, I do get a little bit sad sometimes, but then I see the community, I see we have like 20 people playing Pioneer on a Thursday night or whatever, and it's like, people are still enjoying Magic. We're just people who do Magic for a living, and work's always going to suck a little bit sometimes. Magic's still great, we're just shitty now.
Yeah, but did I change though? I don't feel like I changed. I just feel like there were too many SKUs, and I was like, that's so many SKUs.
But it's our job.
SKU many. Yeah.
It's our job, you know? And like, I think getting, like you said, you played EDH and it was great. I think getting out there and playing Magic is the cure for being tired of Magic as a job.
Oh, I just haven't bought any shit also.
Right. I mean, that's fine. Just play the game. It'll make you enjoy it.
Oh, I'm a liar. I've spent like thousands of dollars at my LGS since I sold everything and quit.
Sure. And
it's like some stuff was to give away, some stuff was for decks, some stuff was just like replacing cards that are in decks. Because all that Eldraine stuff, all those enchantments were hot. So it's like, how do I not buy that shit?
Enchantments.
I know. They're permanent. They stick around. They do something every turn.
That's how I feel about artifacts. I love a good trinket.
Yeah.
I love a good bauble.
Yeah. I love a good, every turn I do some shit for 6 mana versus, I played an instant. Oh, you played an instant? Good for you.
I think.
Ooh, I played a Dark Ritual. Oh, you won? Fuck.
I think
busted.
Twin Cast is like easily the lowest energy of the EDH archetypes.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I cast a 9-mana spell and then I copied it 30 times. It's like, buddy, we get it. Your wife doesn't love you. It's fine.
Congrats.
That
was a victory. Is it? Because their life is empty. So I said, is it a victory?
This post
but also
approved
that's
by
the red and
real
blue.
By real chromatic star lovers. Stamped and approved.
Yeah, if you were... It takes real balls to play eggs right now.
That's true. I've been thinking about putting Second Sunrise and Faith's Reward in my, like, Aristocrats decks. And they're probably really strong. But also, like, I feel like if I put Second Sunrise in a deck, it's a slippery slope.
To not getting Kami False Hope as my breaking bulk. As an Aristocrats player.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing.
No, I'm just kidding on it.
I also just built an Aristocrats deck for the first time, like, last week.
Oh, they're fun.
I'm excited. I have Loris as my companion.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aristocrats is fun, because... That's why I hate Farewell. Just let people do their graveyard bullshit. Just let them have 2 hands. It's fine.
I want you
Nobody
to know,
ever did anything wrong having a graveyard full of stuff to bring back.
I bought a Farewell the other day to put in my, like, standard control deck, and I thought of you, and I thought about how disappointed in me you'd be.
Oh, fuck it. It's standard. Standard is a different animal.
Sure.
Everything I hate in EDH, it's because it makes the game take longer. There's a timer in standard.
50 minutes, you may begin.
You wanna waste a bunch of time. You're at 3 life, I'm at 17, and you wanna wipe the board? Good luck, face. But, like, when we're playing EDH and you just tacked a half hour onto my night, no, incorrect. So, Farewell and Standard, good. Fuck them. Leave them with no resources. I used to play cards that made people discard their whole hand and wipe their graveyard. Standard is crazy shit. It's fine. But EDH, respect my time. I don't want you to wipe the board and the graveyard. Pick one. Don't exile all my enchantments. I have a replenish in my hand. Put all my enchantments in the yard. Say, I did something. Then I'll cast replenish, and then we'll be done. Wouldn't you love to be done?
I would love
Wouldn't
to
you
be
love
done.
if this game just ended? Wouldn't you love if I cast Insurrection and instead of adding an hour to the game by casting Teferi's Protection, you just died to your own creatures and we played another game? Wouldn't you love that?
Every 6 months they print another Teferi's Protection. They print like Mists of Lorien, or not Mists of Lorien, whatever the one from the Commander thing
Everybody
is, but, like,
Lives or whatever.
Yeah, they print another one. You know what I love about CEDH? I've been playing CEDH lately. Is on, like, you know, sometimes it's turn 3, sometimes it's turn 12. Somebody just, like, plays 2 cards on the table, says, yep, that's it. Let's go to the next one. It's so nice.
I love that.
You put a bow on it. You just put a little bow on it and you're done and you play the next one.
Maybe I would like CEDH because the game can end.
I think you would actually really enjoy CEDH, but not in tournaments. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, sure. Just playing games that end. Yeah, that'd be good.
Right, yeah. I played a game recently where I'm playing a control deck. I'm playing Talion, Kindly Lord. And it was like, you know, probably turn 8 or 10 or whatever, and one of my opponents plays a Silence, and then plays like Scepter, Dramatic Reversal, and starts going off, and the other player has like a Rhystic Study, and so eventually draws into a Beseiju and kills the Isochron Scepter, then passes to me, and then I just like play Thassa's Oracle, Tainted Pact, and I win the game because all the interaction got used to stop the first player. We were done in like a tight 40 minutes. You know, we played like a long, grindy game in 40 minutes. We went and got lunch at the taco place, and we came back and we played 2 more in an hour.
Wow.
It was delightful.
Stupendous.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I've been trying to turn EDH into CDH by running like... Just, if you play an 8-mana spell, congrats. Every 8-mana spell should just say, shuffle up. Craterhoof, just like, you did Insurrection, shuffle up.
Unban Sway of the Stars and Biorhythm. Let's go.
BDM's my go-to guy for stuff like that too, because like as much as like I like a lot of the movies BDM likes, he's like, oh yeah, I saw that in the theater, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah. He's
like, oh, the Rocketeer, Jennifer Connelly came into the comic book store while I was working and asked for reference material, and I was like, Jesus. BDM's got the best stories, dude.
He is an old head proper, you know, like.
Yeah, that's why John and I love recording with him. So we haven't recorded in a while because John's been busy. And he's like, do you want to do it with just you and me? I'm like, we got to get BDM. Like,
yeah.
That's the most fun I have podcasting is with those two.
BDM DM'd me one time on Twitter being like, yeah, I'm a big fan of his work in Magic, obviously.
Sure.
But I'm also a huge fan of like the recipes he makes and like his cool cocktails. And he messaged me, he was like, hey.
The cocktails. Yeah.
He messaged me, he was like, hey, I'd love to do a food podcast with you at some point. And I was like, oh my God, that'd be so awesome. And he's like, oh, actually, I didn't mean to send this to you, but like, we can maybe do something someday. He sent it to the wrong blank druid on Twitter. And he played it off so well. He was an immaculate professional, and I was only a little heartbroken.
Oh, brutal.
And that's no shade against him. That was a pure accident, but it was so fucking funny.
But like, what if you did end up on a podcast with him and it was a total accident? That's farcical. I love it.
I would love to spend 50 minutes just talking about like fun cocktail ideas with BDM. BDM, if you're a listener, and I know you aren't, because our podcast sucks. Unless you're a patron, in which case keep giving us money. But if you are, I'd love to record a cocktail podcast with you.
Patreon.com/BDM.
BDMSB.
That just sounds...
Whoa, BDSM.
Bondage, domination, sadism, domination again? Masturbation? Probably.
We're at like an hour 25. We probably got a good 30 minutes of magic in there.
Good, yeah. We have not done pick of the week.
Oh, well, it's time.
We did at the top, but I don't know if that was...
We didn't actually get it out. No, we didn't even get it out.
We could do another segment. I could go for a segment right about now.
What
if we did a segment... Yeah, what if we treated ourselves and our listeners to a segment called Pick of the Week?
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
My pick of the week is a standard card that's kind of close to bulk rare status that I am very high on because it's in the oldest standard set currently. And that's Memory Deluge. A little...
What's the oldest standard set?
Midnight Hunt.
Oh.
Because they extended standard for an extra year, so that set stays in standard until next August or October, maybe. Memory Deluge is like the 4-mana, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put 2 in your hand. If you flash it back for 7, you look at the top 7, and put 2 cards in your hand. It's just a good card advantage spell in a control deck. They just printed a blue-white creature land and Get Lost, a good removal spell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could definitely see some sort of blue-white controlsies deck, perhaps with Farewell.
Yeah, perhaps with Sunfall.
I don't know what that is.
It's a 5-mana sweeper that triggers up the Beanstalk. That's all I know.
Well, yeah.
Greg Orange played it in his deck at Worlds.
What a card, Beanstalk.
It's really funny how the One Ring isn't even the best card draw engine in Modern anymore. Like they're just playing Charlotte's Agent into Beanstalk in Modern now, and that's like the thing to do.
That sounds that's bullshit. I love bullshit. Yeah.
They're playing Violent Outburst too, because you got to have red cards in your deck for Fury.
Yes, Violent Outburst, good. It's
Cascade.
All good. Cascade. What a keyword ability.
Did you see that Mississippi River made the finals of the Legacy Challenge on Sunday?
I did not see any of that because Sunday's my BattleBots day, and I saw that Sawblaze won the Golden Bolt. Good for them.
Do you know the deck Mississippi River cards? It's called Creative Technique, the 5-mana Creative Technique. It plays like a bunch of Suprazin Scaries and like Sandstone Needles and Ancient Tombs for double lands to play this card as early as possible.
Sure.
And then it plays like every card that costs 6 mana and has Cascade and then Emrakul's, and that's it. And so you just like cast your deck when you get to 5 mana if you draw this card.
That's amazing.
It made the finals of the Legacy Challenge.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I love when Legacy does some bullshit.
Yeah.
You remember the Werewolf Stompy deck in Legacy?
That was a John Johnson original, wasn't it? With
yeah.
Helmweir Gatekeeper. Like
Helmweir Battlemaster, whatever the one that flipped into like a 5/5.
It was a 3-mana Helmweir Watchkeep.
That's the one.
I remember watching that on camera and watching him like win that event, and I was like, damn, this is Legacy's the format where anything can happen, and boy was I wrong for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember Soldier Stompy for a while there?
The mono white?
Yeah.
Ugh. Magic's weird.
We're kind of in a space again now where like Ancient Tomb Chrome Mox and Stuff decks are good again. Like, there's the mono black deck that plays Beseech the Mirror, Helm, Leyline, and, like, Chrome Mox to play your Orcish Bowmasters and Opposition Agents on turn 1.
And, like, that feels good.
Right. It's like...
It's a broken
cool.
format. Let's do broken stuff.
Right. The broken stuff for once isn't Brainstorm and Daze.
Yeah, free spells were a mistake.
Oh.
I played in the standard, we were like, this is fine. That deck has Gush, Thwart, Foil, Daze, Spiketail Drake. Yeah, this is good Magic.
I played some pre-modern recently with a local, and I played, like, the Goblins deck. And he would just, like, turn to Phyrexian Dreadnought Stifle with, like, Thwart and Misdirection up, and I was just like, what am I supposed to do here? Goblin Lackey attack into your 12/12, I guess.
Yeah, Lackey attacky. Goblins, a fair deck, apparently.
It's becoming less fair, though. It's kind of become a Chrome Mox Ancient Tomb deck with Name Sticker Goblin with Mind Goblin.
Mind Goblin these nuts?
To turbo out Muxus.
Well, what, the 6-drop?
Yep. So the Name Sticker Goblin, I think, can make 6 mana. It makes 5 mana most of the time, but, like, I think some percentage of the time it makes 6 if you build your sticker deck right. And so you can, like, Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, Mind Goblin, and then Muxus on turn 1 to, like, make a bunch of goblins.
Well,
it's kind of sweet.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It used to be Empty the Vault Empty the Warrens doing that, but now it's
the Goblin Grandee gets that right.
Anyway, that was a 25-minute introduction to Pick of the Week, but we didn't actually do our Picks of the Week.
That is true. My pick this week, I already talked about Memory Deluge. You didn't do yours.
Oh! Spike Weaver. Listen, Spike Weaver is a Magic card.
I love Spike Weaver.
Spike Weaver is going in the Sovereign Okinek decks, and that's not the most popular commander, but it is the most popular one we haven't talked about yet. Ojer and Noxil we talked about. Galta Stampede Tyrants, like, it's dinosaurs. Huatli, it's dinosaurs. The Myco Tyrant, it's Saprolings. Breaches, it's pirates. It feels like all the decks are just sort of just built around their type, and it feels bad. Even Amalia Benavides Aguirre, that has caused some people to question who they're attracted to, doesn't really do anything all that novel, but Sovereign Okinek, it's probably ow, because it's a kitty cat. You know how cats are always howling at the moon. Ow!
It's true.
So, the Sovereign, it's making stuff happen. And Spike Weaver is one of those cards that if you can put 1/1 counters back on it, it's quite good.
I think, on your point of, like, commander decks, the precon's feeling prescriptive, I almost think that the more mundane the commander is, the more interesting it is to me. Like, the less it does, the more interesting it is.
Or if it just does something that's not like, if every time you would keyword 2 times.
Right. I really like from Lost Caverns of Ixalan, I'm talking about Anim Pakal, the thousandth
the thousandth moon.
Yeah. Having like a Goblin Rabblemaster type creature as your commander, and like being able to do some cool like artifacts matter, maybe even do like Goblin Bombardment sacrifice stuff. That card to me does something simple, but like in a cool way. And those to me are the commanders that compel me the most nowadays.
Yeah. I think coming from Legacy where it's really scrappy, where like something like Goblin Bombardment is just like busted in Legacy. You learn how to fight over like those just like small advantages. And something like this that like does something that gets bigger every time you do it seems really cool. Anim Pakal, Thousandth Moon.
My other favorite card from this set for Commander is Mephetic Draft. It's a black and a colorless for an artifact. When it enters the battlefield or is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card and lose a life. It's another Ichor Wellspring. And Ichor Wellspring is one of my favorite Commander cards ever. This card's going to go in so many of my decks.
Yeah, I think there's cool stuff in this set. And there's also cards called Get Lost.
I love that card.
That's rude.
Get lost. Pound sand.
Go trumpet your own carnosaur.
Kick
You
rocks.
enterprising scallywag. Yeah. Make like a tree and leave.
I will say also, I've played some limited for this format, some sealed decks. The games are really fun. I know I said that about Eldraine too, but like limited Magic feels more fun than it has in a long time.
Which is crazy because no one plays it. They got rid of draft boosters.
I mean, I'm honestly excited to have one kind of booster as someone who runs a store.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
exactly.
like, if the draft experience is still good, I won't care. You know, like, as long as...
Yeah, I hope when you're getting a 5th pick rare and you're like, what the fuck? How is there still a rare left in the pack? Well, everybody else took a rare. Like, as long as that doesn't ruin your draft experience. Well, there's a list card and a reprint and a future print and, yeah.
I have hope that they'll be smart about it and they won't ruin draft. I might be naive in that hope, but I love draft, so I'm staying hopeful until proven otherwise.
There's always Arena.
There's always... Well... Maybe not for me. I specifically made it so that I couldn't access my Arena account ever again. I like changed my password to a random string of characters and tried to brute force my account and it got locked so I could never go back. I was very drunk when I did that and I stand by it.
You sobered up and you're like, well, you know, drunk Cass had a point.
Yeah, Arena. But also, you know, Arena's fine.
It's fine. I excised it from my life permanently, but
I relapsed this week. I relapsed this week and re-downloaded Moto, and I started playing Legacy on Moto to prep for
Moto. That's worse than a relapse. It's like, stop doing cigarettes.
But I get to play Legacy.
Do heroin again.
I get to play Legacy. It's great.
I mean, yeah, I see the appeal.
As soon as Eternal Weekend's over, I'm off it again. But you know,
yeah. That's what my first wife said.
Soon
I see a little bit to keep me straight, and I'll come back with our money.
Did you have a first wife? Have you been married twice?
No, certainly not.
Your current wife, then?
Yeah, she is my first wife.
It's true.
She doesn't like it when I call her that. Certainly.
As somebody with an ex-wife, this is stolen valor, Jason.
Well, it's not actually stolen valor to call your first wife your first wife. She hates it, and she hates when I joke that I like going to PTA meetings at my daughter's school in case my second wife has been born already. She doesn't like that one either.
Jesus. I think you should start calling her your only wife because it implies a lot of things that should be answered by your statement. Like, hello, yes, this is my only wife.
What do you mean only wife? Well, it's pretty obvious what only means, huh?
I feel like it's like a Bob's Burgers joke. It's like that level of humor.
And this is my first wife, Linda. Bobby, I'm your only wife. Yay.
Who's the other wife? I'll kill her.
Let's sing a song for no reason.
Bobby, Papa, only wife.
It's funny that I'm bad at singing. All the female characters are voiced by men except one.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Kristen Shaw the only...
Kristen Shaw's the only woman, yeah.
Who voices Linda?
Oh, fuck, it's some dude. I forget who, I swear. It's a dude, though.
It's John Roberts?
The Supreme Court Justice?
No. What has John Roberts done in his career? He was a... Okay, I guess he's just done voice work mostly. Cool. Incredible.
Good stuff.
Cool. This was a podcast, everybody. This is Brainstorm Brewery. We talked about some Magic, and JJ will put this together into something listenable, I hope. And if not, well, come back next week.
Or don't.
Yeah, this is the last episode ever of Brainstorm Brewery. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, we did actually end the podcast forever earlier in the episode, didn't we? So like, that
true.
is...
DJ and Corbin both get a vote, and they're probably going to overrule us. But, you know, Jason and I want to go on
then it's a tie?
DJ has more power over us because he's the only responsible one on the podcast. Corbin crashes his car all the time. You day drink, and I'm on painkillers.
Yeah, well, And DJ Straight Edge, though, do we want a Straight Edge talking about our podcast? Hey guys, we should be sponsored by Carrot Sticks.
But carrot sticks do rock. I love carrot sticks. You're not going to see me dissing carrot sticks. Now, celery sticks, I will talk all day. Celery.
You put the crude back in crudité by poo-pooing celery.
I like celery in like a sofrito. I like it like, it's a good ingredient, but like just a celery stick to snack on, even with peanut butter, I'm off it.
Oh, goodness.
If I'm having something with peanut butter, I want it to be a banana.
You don't deserve mirepoix.
Okay.
Oh, you don't like French cooking? That's bullshit.
No, I prefer a sofrito. A little under the fry. A little Italian. Maybe even a Holy Trinity.
Goodness. I can't brook somebody that doesn't appreciate a good mirepoix.
I do like a good mirepoix.
How do you make stock?
I'm just shit talking.
How do you do?
The actual secret to stock is I just use leek tops.
You don't throw away leek tops? That's genius.
Yeah, I don't throw away most vegetable parts that can be used for a stock. I've actually been working on a stock recently. So you take like chicken bones, you do ginger, and you do lemongrass, and it's like a really bright, fragrant stock, and it's really good, like to make like a chicken ramen with.
I love a good lemongrass. I've been using the same ramen broth that I make with just fucking pounds of shiitake mushrooms.
Oh yeah, the dried mushrooms go crazy.
Lily's a vegetarian now, so like
yeah,
because she's got a vegetarian aunt.
Sure.
And they just indoctrinated her.
Do you use fresh mushrooms or dried mushrooms for the broth?
Shiitakes are easy to find, so I just usually I have
dried are better.
Yeah, I have dried chanterelles and lobsters and some dried shiitake. Like I can just get a shitload of good dried mushrooms.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's almost time of year for me to make demi-glace too. I have like a Cheaters demi-glace that I make. I stole the recipe from Adam Ragusa on YouTube, where you just like boil down chicken stock with like tomato paste, soy sauce, packets of gelatin, like box stock, and you boil it down until it's like 1/6 of the volume, and you freeze it in cubes, and it's basically just demi-glace. It's like not as good as the real stuff, but it also takes 1/100th of the effort.
Woo.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Back when I was living in Pennsylvania, I had like 3 ice cube trays of that in my freezer at all times, and I would just like make like an instant ramen. I'd throw it in there, and it was immediately better.
Wow.
Yeah. Freeze demi-glace cubes. That's the way to do it.
I've been freezing just like deli containers of stock, and I'll occasionally just make like 4 gallons of spaghetti sauce and just freeze it in deli containers.
I did that in like late August because that's the last time tomatoes are good around here. And you just can't.
I just go canned San Marzano. Honestly, like it's fine. You can do it any time of year. You need a little sugar, but that's it.
I make sauce with canned San Marzanos, but like it's not the same as fresh tomatoes. You know, it's never the same.
Yeah. Well, I'll dice some Romas and throw those in there too.
Sure. Back when I was up in Pennsylvania, there was a farmer's market that sold these heirloom. They were called Cherokee Purples. And they had a lot of glutamates in them. They kind of tasted like soy sauce. It was like a soy sauce tomato almost, which I know sounds weird, but it was like really umami and kind of like really tangy. And you cooked it into a sauce, and it was almost like a Chinese. You had like 5 spice, like a Chinese tomato sauce. It was great. One of the best things I've ever made and eaten, and I probably can never make it again because those tomatoes do not exist outside of like there.
A Chinese tomatoes, like 5 spice.
I added 5 spice.
Aniseeds? Yeah.
I tried it. It was pretty good, honestly. I mean, I probably would iterate on it if I did it again, but like it was one of the better things I've ever made. And it was just because the ingredients were so good. I'm gonna stop my recording now.